Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has hidden unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure, or admire an old one. What will we find today? Let's dig in. Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
I'm an interpreter for the deaf, and when I was first starting out, I mostly just helped out in churches. Since I'd been to seminary and grew up in the church, I knew all the Christian words and phrases. They made sense to me. But I realized early on that interpreting them word for word did not make sense in another language. It would be like a foreigner trying to understand English idioms, thinking it's raining cats and dogs is an odd American phenomenon, and they would watch out carefully lest they be hit by a Doberman Pinscher. But if we're talking to a foreigner, we'd probably just tell them it was raining really hard, so they would easily understand our meaning. In the Gospels, Jesus says several times, "He who has ears, let him hear." Now, interpreting that straight word for word would not make sense to a deaf person. Yes, they have ears, but they can't hear. And changing it to, "He who has eyes, let him see," doesn't quite work either. But as my sign language mentor always told me, think about what it really means, not what it says. I remember my mom using the same type of language with me when she was frustrated. "Did you hear me, young lady?" she'd say. I always wanted to bust out laughing. Of course I heard. She'd raised her voice, and it was impossible not to hear her. But I definitely knew what she meant. Did you understand what I said? Are you planning to apply it? And that's what Jesus is saying so many times. He says, "You've heard my stories. You've heard my teachings. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? What are you going to do about it?" Now, some of the people, probably the majority of them, didn't really understand Jesus' parables. Even his disciples were pretty clueless sometimes. They didn't have ears to understand, which is why Jesus explained some of them to his followers. But with some of his stories, I'll tell you who did understand them: the Pharisees and Jewish rulers. And they knew he was speaking against them. They heard and even understood, but they rejected. Today, we have ears, or at least if we don't understand a particular passage, we can pray about it and ask the Holy Spirit to help us, and we can research it and see what it means. But we can choose whether or not to apply it. Jesus commands us, "He who has ears, let him hear." Just like my mom's meaning when she said, "Do you hear me, young lady?" Jesus doesn't give us a choice. It's a command. If you understand, you should obey, he tells us. So we must evaluate ourselves. What is Jesus telling me that I haven't obeyed? What steps do I need to take to obey?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. Also, if you'd like to share a treasure God has given you by doing an episode, please contact us. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you'll find in the description below. Thanks for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.